Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we are currently working on a few repairs here. I don't think there's anything that's going to require manual intervention beyond what we've already done. I'll have to double check that though. We've got some disciplinary measures going on here, and Squire is going to be unavailable for 7 days, which is absolutely fine. We're not too concerned about that. We just need one more deployment in this month tick, which is going to be 14 days. So that all sounds absolutely great. Brick is back now, and we're getting a lot of these finished up. So before the Black Knight finishes, I want to check to see, are all of these good to go? They are. Okay. So now we're going to get the Black Knight finished, which should also be good to go. Let's double check that, but I just wanted to check that while we still had 1 day ticking there. So yeah, everything looks good here. No problem whatsoever. And let's hop into the command center and prepare to deploy, although we should probably do promotions first, now that I think about it. Yes, we should. What do we got here? So far a whole lot of nothing. Oh, although Jammer can get a point of tactics, and we'll absolutely take that. Okay, the rest of this is reasonably good. Magus can grab a point of tactics here. That sounds great. Anything else going on? Well, Savarok, we have a choice. He is a, generic substitute pilot for the moment. I think we're just going to take Bandit. Bandit is a fantastic generic trait, and we're just going to confirm that. Sounds good. For Squire, we're just going to take a point of piloting, and we'll call that good too. Squire is, I believe, also a backup pilot, so that's absolutely fine for the moment. And Weaselcakes is fine. Okay, so let's hop into the command center. We'd like to make, in pure profit, at least 1.5 million from this. So, I mean, something like this is interesting, but it is a blackout mission, and blackout missions dramatically limit how much we can deploy. So I would kind of prefer not to do that right now. We've got Operation Red Dog here, which is also a blackout. Okay, what is this? This is a battle. We only have time to load 6 units. Okay, sure. This is a defend base. That's interesting, actually. We might do a defend base here. It's a Steiner facility. Noted. Time-sensitive mission. This is a Comstar Elite Lance battle. It's foggy night. We know that we have problems at night, so we probably don't necessarily want that. Defend base in the day seems pretty decent, so maybe we sit... It's no free priority salvage. Right down the middle? Yeah, I think that's reasonably fine. We're going to be basically going a little bit negative here with this financial report coming through, but I think that's broadly okay. We're against the Steiners, and we're just going to deploy everything exactly as is. This sounds good. Darius thinks it'll be hard. That's a good sign. I'll see you guys after the loading screen. So here we are all loaded up, and let's see what we've got going on here. So I don't think we have to capture the base first, right? That's generally not how this works. Oh, this is urban. Okay, that's spicy. Well, we'll see what's going on here. Presumably we'll have turrets. Yeah. Point defenses, yep. That's all very normal. Okay, so where is the base in question? Here. Okay. We actually have to deploy quite a long ways away. We could deploy up over here. The enemy vanguard is here. The engineers are here. So we actually kind of want to deploy about here and just eliminate that vanguard very quickly, ideally. So let's see what goes on with that. This is the recommended deploy location, or very close to it. So let's see what we've got going on here. There should be a decent amount of fairly powerful enemies. We do immediately see a heavy bomber, as well as a helicopter. Okay. So, what do we got over here? As soon as the game gets caught up, we'll find out. This is the problem with urban environments. They're way more laggy. Okay, so we don't know yet. Allies are moving. Sure. This is a Demolisher, LBX. This is a Shiv. This is a... What are you? Ifrit? Okay. And then this is a Challenger X. Noted. We'll see how they move, but we'll need to shoot down that Ifrit very, very quickly, and that Devastator really does need to go away. or rather Demolisher. That Shiv is not a huge threat, but they're in an awkward location for us. Of course, we have spawn protection right now, so we're just going to move up to here with our crossbow and take cover. And we'll see what all we've got going on here. So I'm thinking about going after this Demolisher with some of our more cavalry-ish units at this point. And our fire support fires on the Ifrit is the current idea. I want to move our Bandersnatch up into cover. There we go. And next up is going to be that prime mover. Okay, it's just positioning there. It might make it directly in next round and activate our turrets, which would be nice. No doubt about that. The Grasshopper is going to sprint forward out over here. We're moving to engage the Demolisher, is the idea. So this Demolisher has how much frontal armor? That is a question that we do need to ask. And the answer is 250. Dual LBX AC-20s is painful. No doubt about that, and we do not want to eat that if we can help it. So Rhino FST moves up, and that's an Archer closing in over here. Sure, that's, of course, allied units. And we've got our Crossbow X, which I kind of want to position to attack that Ifrit. But we'll put it in a spot where it could go for both, theoretically. Next up would be our Black Knight. Our saving grace here is how late this Demolisher moves. Wait, did that Ifrit not move? Hang on a moment. It didn't. Okay. I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to take advantage of that. Spawn protection is a thing, and it'll probably move pretty early next round. Our Rifleman is going to position somewhere around here. I don't want to be too clustered together, right? We're already pretty clustered together here for bombs, and we'll see how that ends up going. Okay, that's a longbow. That's a pretty decent fire support mech there, no doubt about it. So what else do we have here? Well, next up is going to be this Challenger. We'll see where it goes. But I believe that's all of their units having moved at that point. We definitely want to eliminate their units quickly. Okay, the Challenger just didn't move. Beautiful. So we'll see if that continues to be the case. I want our Marauder to head up over this way, trying to keep us a little bit more spread out than we are right here. So that'll be absolutely fine. At this point, their Demolisher is going to move. And the question is, what is it going to do here? They definitely have some dangerous units here, but it didn't move at all. Did they move any of their units? They moved this Shiv very slightly. Okay.
Good to go.
Our Nidhogg is going to make its way, I think, up over this direction. I don't want to burn significant amounts of its ammo yet, but I'm okay with positioning here for AMS purposes, as well as being in position to start using the snub nose out over this way.
Yep.
Our LRM carrier really just needs to move out over this direction for the time being, and we'll have it brace. And our jerry-rig Demolisher, I want to advance as much as possible. We're going to position it about here. There we go. And finally, our Epimetheus is going to head up here. Actually, that's not finally. There's still another unit to move. The Epimetheus will position there. And now, finally, our Devastator is going to head out over here.
Roger that.
Okay. So that's all reasonably fine. There's a good target here for their Ifrit to attack our Black Knight. We'll see if that happens. That'll be a very interesting thing to see where they roll their initiatives for this next round. 18 on the Devastator. Okay. And 21. Noted. So the Shiv is going for the Prime Mover. That is not particularly a bad thing for us. That said, we'll see if it survives or not. So, phase 22. We're going to see an allied movement here, and which one is going to move? And also, we rolled kind of poorly on the initiative, so that means that the Ifrit is going to get basically a free shot on us. Yeah, that's not great, but we'll then be able to focus it. We'll see what it does. So that's that Fulcrum. We'll see what it fires on, if anything. The Shiv. It got some damage in there and triggered the AMS from the Ifrit. So I'm reasonably okay with that outcome. Now the question is, what does this Ifrit do? This is the danger zone, and we shall see. Its best target is definitely right in this cluster of units. Somewhere in here. And it'll figure that out most likely. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just chooses not to move. But no. It fires on our Bandersnatch. It drops mines in this area.
Okay, that was bad.
Okay. That could have been significantly worse. It didn't actually do all that much. The prime mover gets the turrets online. That's great. Now, phase 18 is when the Demolisher moves. He's going to go for the Bandersnatch. I'm 99% certain about that right now. And that could potentially do a lot of damage. The LBXs, it depends on what ammo type he's utilizing. If he is using the spread ammo, that's fine. And we don't really care all that much. However, if he's using slug ammo, he could do a lot to our Bandersnatch here. So I'm going to position our crossbow up over this direction as a bit of a block. So we're just going to block LOS there. And yes, there are landmines. We are aware of this. We can fire on the Demolisher, or we can fire on the Ifrit. I'm going to fire on the Ifrit here. So we're going to light this up. We've already triggered its AMS once. We're going to trigger it more.
Affirmative.
That's a lot of AMS triggering there. Okay. So it's not just the Ifrit with the AMS. There's also AMS on that Challenger. Noted. So phase 18, and we are going to see this Demolisher moving shortly. But first, we're going to see an allied unit move. It will be this Rhino. We'll see what that decides to do. I'd like to see it fire on either of these. Either the Demolisher or the Ifrit would be good. Honestly, the Ifrit, it could probably kill, depending on what its weaponry is. It probably could. It went for the Demolisher, and it hit 0 missiles. Okay. Well, that was awkward. No doubt about that. I still expect the Demolisher to shoot at our Bandersnatch here. And the question is, what type of ammo does it have for those LBXs? We don't know, but it might do a lot to our Bandersnatch here. It's just unfortunate that we rolled up the way we did in terms of initiative. That is sad, but there's not really anything to do about that right now. So we just got to take this shot, and we'll see what happens. What you gonna do, Demolisher? This could be very painful. Slug ammo into the Bandersnatch, probably a knockdown.
That hit hard.
Yes, that is a knockdown. Okay, it did not breach the armor, though. And we resisted the injury, so that could have been worse.
I've got your back.
No doubt about that. I'm going to move up our crossbow here. This is moving through the minefield. The question is, who do we shoot at? Do we shoot at the Demolisher? Do we shoot at the Ifrit? I think we're going to shoot at the Ifrit here. Although hit odds are so much better on the Demolisher. This will probably still trigger the AMS. We're not going to kill the Demolisher. We have a chance of shooting down the Ifrit here. I think we fire this. Because if we can eliminate this as a target, that's going to be a very big deal. That was a lot of hits. Every single one of those hits was armor. They did manage to AMS 20 of those 60 missiles, but this Ifrit has significantly weakened armor at this time. And also at this time, they don't have any units that are a significant threat to us, with the possible exception of that Challenger. We'll see if that actually moves. I'm not convinced that it will. It didn't last turn. So next up is going to be this Archer. It backs off and fires on the Challenger. It missed every missile. What's up with our allies and missing every missile out of these large salvos? I'm not sure what's going on with that one. But our Grasshopper is absolutely going to head forward over here. I want the Grasshopper to engage this Demolisher. And that's what we're doing. So we're going to fire straight on in here. That's a large amount of damage into the front of that Demolisher. And that's mostly just a softening. So next up is Phase 15. That is going to be an allied unit, the Longbow. It's probably going to go after the Demolisher, but if I was it, I'd back off and fire on the Ifrit, which it's firing on the Challenger. Okay. I don't love that choice, but it did actually do damage to it, so there's that. Started a bunch of fires around over here. I don't know that that's helpful to us. I'm going to position our riflemen about here. We can choose to fire on the Demolisher side arc or on the Ifrit side arc. Either way, we have decent hit odds. And I think that the Ifrit is basically a guaranteed kill here from this angle. Yeah, I think that's a guaranteed kill.
Roger that.
Light him up. Structure exposure there, and we did a lot of damage into that structure. Unfortunately, one of those ERPPCs missed. That was very close to being a kill. Certainly. 3 hit points. Sad. Well, we'll get that shot down pretty easily here. So next up is going to be that Challenger MBT. Now, that can output a lot of damage. It's probably going to fire on, like, our crossbow here, or maybe our Nidhogg. Or maybe this Vargur. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Probably the Vargur, actually. That'll be the best hit odds for it. It'll have to... If it moves, it'll take burn damage. What's its plan here? Oh. It's ramming our crossbow? That's awkward. And it did get a knockdown on the crossbow there. I mean, that ram did do a lot of damage, no doubt about it. But it's now in a much more vulnerable position, the Challenger MBT. So we can attack it from its left flank, and the Black Knight would actually be in a basically perfect position to do so. There is minefield here, but we can kick this guy right in his... No, over here. Kick him right in his side arc. This is his left side. And why are these hit odds so low? From Burning Forest. Can we do it from another angle? We could do rear arc. I don't think that's good, though. Awkward that this forest is on fire right here, but we'll just have to take it. So we'll move in here, and we will attack this Challenger MBT. So that's a successful melee. A decent laser shot there, softening up its armor. Okay, so these vehicles have very thick armor, that's definitely for sure. And we'll see what ends up happening with that. Yeah, that's pretty weakened. And that Demolisher is pretty weakened as well. So at this point, our Marauder can position somewhere around... I'm kind of thinking here. So the Marauder moves up. We can utilize the Marauder to fire on the Ifrit, but I don't think that's the choice here. Or we could fire on that Demolisher, which I think is much better hit odds. And we'll take. Right into that weakened side arc there. And significant armor reduction on that Demolisher and attack. Beautiful. So this Demolisher is getting close to dead. Next up is going to be our Nidhogg. I'm going to move the Nidhogg somewhere up over... I'm thinking this way. About here. I don't want to fire with heavy amounts of Nidhogg ammo. I want to reserve that because there will be additional enemies. If we fire on this Shiv, this is rear arc. Just our snub nose could take this down, I believe. 51 damage. We would have to hit in this side arc. It's not a guarantee. I'm going to fire this heavy rocket launcher 10.
Target lock on enemy stick.
And I think we got him. I think the rocket launcher was unnecessary, but it guaranteed. So that's good. There's one down.
Target eliminated.
Next up is, of course, going to end up being the Ifrit going down, most likely. It is our Bandersnatch next. The Bandersnatch will stand up. It has a lot of instability, but they've... And its armor is actually in quasi-decent state. It's not phenomenal, that's for sure, but it's okay. Hit odds are incredibly low here, mostly probably because firing from Burning Forest. We are currently calculating its movement, apparently. I'm not sure if we can move. I guess if we careful maneuver, we probably could. Yeah, now we can definitely move it out over, say, this direction, which we'll do.
Moving to position.
There we go. Sure. And we can fire on, I think the Demolisher is the choice here. Do we fire the ER medium lasers? No, because we were in that fire. So we're going to fire something more along the lines of this. This could kill the Demolisher. There's not a lot of frontal armor left, though. Structure exposure, is it gone? I think it is. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, so with that Demolisher gone, things are starting to look definitely a lot better for us. Of course, there's going to be additional enemies spawning, and... Okay. That was turrets into that Ifrit. Additional turrets into the Ifrit. It can't keep this up. It's got barely any armor. I think that shoots it down. Generally, that's what this lag means in an urban environment, and yeah, it's gone. Fantastic. So at this point, the only remaining enemy is the Challenger MBT. So I'm going to take our jerry-rig Demolisher around to here. There are mines on the way, but not too many. And I'm not going to fire our eye rockets. I'm not going to fire the machine guns either. I just want to fire these heavy rifles and medium lasers right into this rear arc. Got it. Okay. Decent damage into that rear arc there. I was hoping to get some into that weakened side. I don't think that happened. Missiles into that rear arc, though. Doing a fair amount of damage and getting a structure exposure. The Challenger is still alive, but we've still got our Devastator. So we're going to position the Devastator here. I think I'm not going to bother firing the AC-20. This is almost certainly a kill. Yeah. I think. Left side track crit, engine crit.
Critical hit.
Wow, that didn't actually kill it. I thought that would kill it. I was pretty certain. Fortunately, we've still got our LRM carrier and our Epimetheus. So that's okay. We can just position our LRM carrier around... I mean, this is definitely going to be awkward for our LRM carrier. I think we should honestly move our Epimetheus.
Skipper.
So the Epimetheus is going to position about here. And we'll just fire straight into this side arc. I'm not going to fire the light AC-20. I'm not going to fire the MRM either. Everything else here, I will. Yeah, that stray shot is the reason why I didn't want to. So I believe that MBT is dead. Confirmed. It is. We took a fair amount of damage from that Vanguard. No doubt about it. They had some pretty powerful units there. So we'll see what ends up happening with the other units. Now, the LRM carrier, I'm simply going to brace.
Roger.
We need to clear out these mines here. So we're going to exit combat here, or they're going to spawn the new enemies. I'm not sure which. This feels like spawning the new enemies. But we actually exited combat, and that is perfect. So I'm going to grab the Nidhogg here. The Nidhogg is going to position here. Oh, it sprinted. Oh. Okay, brace everybody. I suppose we could use the Rifleman for this, but it's too late now. Okay. So allied turn. Yep, that seems good. We'll let these guys do what they're going to do, which isn't going to be much. There are no enemies right now. There will be a new enemy unit spawning shortly. Okay, I guess you can drive straight through the minefield for no reason at all. Sure, why not? So the enemies are running around here. What we need right now is to stand up our crossbow. And we need to fire a PPC, like, right here. Just to clear out as many of these mines as we can. That was the goal behind the Nidhogg, but it sprinted because we were out of combat. That was my own fault. And we'll see how long it takes for our allied units to stop whatever it is they're doing. They're just kind of running around. Okay. So we're going to see new enemies spawning very, very shortly here. Very shortly indeed. It is very unfortunate that... hang on, did they just not spawn? They didn't. Okay, I'm grabbing... Why are you moving there? I said grab the Nidhogg.
Yes, boss.
There we go. Okay, we are going to attack ground here. So attack ground, and we're going to attack with the snub-nose PPC. And I would love it to be right here. Hopefully we don't hit our unit, but we'll see.
Here we go.
Okay, so we cleared out some of these mines. In fact, nearly all of them. Okay, now, I believe we saw enemy contact. Where was that? A longbow here, but that's our ally. I don't know. We're gonna get our crossbow up. Our crossbow took a lot of damage from that charge. There's no doubt about it. That charge was pretty devastating on our crossbow.
Back in the fight.
But I'm just going to move it up over here and we'll brace it. I don't know where the enemies are.
Roger that.
So I just want to exit, now that this minefield is gone, I just want to exit the fires. And we'll just
Moving to position.
get ourselves a little bit of evasive. I think it said that there are enemies. So we're just going to position our units around a bit. The Epimetheus is going to be up over here. That seems fine. The Crossbow X, I'm going to position about here. And the LRM carrier is going to come up over here. Okay. There we go. And the Jerry-Rig Demolisher, I'm actually just going to brace. Same with the Devastator. And that'll be fine. Cool. So our allies are going to move a bit. And where are those enemies? I mean, we could just hold and brace until the end of the mission, if that ends up being the case. But I don't see enemies yet. We've not entered combat, and we just don't see any. Which is a bit wild. It's going to take some time, though, either way, with these allied units. They're going to take some time to move around. I'd like this fire to go away. That should go away fairly soon. So that should be fine. There we go. It is gone. And here come the reinforcements. Perfect.
They're heading your way.
I think they're up this way. Yeah, we can see the dust over here. Cool. We don't know what they are. Although I did see a hunchback there. And that seems absolutely okay. There's probably a second lance, and it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to deal with these units. I see another heavy bomber here. Okay, that's a little bit spooky for sure. Oh, there's two. There's an Ifrit, and there's a Seth. And then there's a Hunchback and a Highlander. That's pretty powerful, no doubt about that. And I think there's more enemies out here if the frame rate would let us look at it. That would be awfully nice. Any moment now, frame rate. This is the edge of the map, so no, there aren't more enemies out this way, but there are definitely more enemies. The question is, what is this Ifrit going to do, right? That's what's being calculated right now. And if we can abuse LOS, we might be able to deal with these basically one at a time. That'll be the overall plan, but we need to get to a point where we can move, and that's going to be after the Ifrit and the Seth moves. So there is that. Okay, so the Ifrit moves up and does what? Boy, that's laggy. Fires on the APC. Okay, I like that. That is not a bad thing. I wish we could see the aftermath of it, but sure. Boy, this frame rate is not great while it's calculating these flying units. We'll get there eventually. So yeah, a little bit of damage on that Vargar is not a bad thing. Okay, we see a Hunter out over here. Noted. So we're kind of flanked. Okay, what is out over this way? This is going to be a... Anytime the game catches up here. That's a Hunter, that's a Jaeger, we see a Sparky, and an SRM carrier. Okay, so that is not a huge threat out over this way. We can probably eliminate that fairly quickly with just a couple of units. It's a much larger threat out this direction. So we're waiting currently on this Seth to figure out what it's going to do. Ow.
That shot went internal.
Yeah, that was a lot of internal damage. I think that was eye rockets. if I had to guess. Now, the Seth didn't move. Yeah, that was definitely eye rockets. It did not breach our armor, but it was very close in this leg. Now, we have nothing in that leg, so it's not necessarily the biggest of deals. This Ifrit has 13 evasive, so that's going to be hard for us to hit. They're firing at this Highlander. Okay. Our allied units are calculating now. Once we get a chance to move, I'll put a cut in, and we'll deal with this next episode, but it's going to be a little bit yet. We're going to have this unit figure out where it's going to go. What is that? That is a fulcrum. Okay. There's a lot of units on the map right now, and that is definitely a little bit painful in terms of the frame rate in an urban environment. No doubt about that. Okay. It's firing on this Ifrit, and I mean, it pops the AMS, but it gets no damage, and on 13 evasive, that's not shocking. I don't know why it didn't go for the Seth there, to be honest. Okay, so we've got an enemy moving now, and then I think we get to move. At long last. It's definitely been a while. Phase 19 is probably someone out over here. Yes, that is going to be this Sparky. Now, we don't know what that Sparky has. We should be able to chip through it pretty quickly. So it moves up over here and fires on what exactly? Nothing. It is just evasive with 6 evasives. Okay. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll get these guys dealt with. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.